Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and I recently got asked about this situation, and I was kind of surprised I actually had no video on it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinion. My opinion may not be the legal opinion in your state or country. You should definitely talk to your own attorney and your own liability insurance. Anything I say in this video is just my opinion. That's all it is, my personal opinion, and you should not go by this. So I just want to make this crystal clear. I know there's probably consumers listening to this, so listen, I'm sorry if this stuff's happening. It totally happens. I've seen it happening many more times than I want. So let me explain how this works. So it happens very commonly in OSOs, DSOs, less commonly in private practice, more commonly in clinics, but it totally does happen in private practice too. So just because it's a fancy looking building and an expensive price doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. And there can be really nice DSOs and OSOs where this absolutely doesn't happen. I've happened to see it. I've seen it in both circumstances. So one of them was a circumstance where I was working in a DSO that happened to have an ortho component. I've seen it more than once, and they would literally hold patients hostage. So maybe it's a 24-month treatment plan, or they encourage us to always lean on the longer 24 to 30 months, especially if the patient wasn't able to put down a big enough down payment. They would say, "Doctor, don't you think this should be 24 to 30 months?" And I'm like, no. No, this is definitely 12 to 18 months. But then they're able to string the payments out for longer. And then let's say the patient stops paying or isn't able to make a payment. Instead of taking the braces off, they leave them on and they hold the patient hostage, and they won't do adjustments or make progress, or they'll just change colors, which is a gray area, and they won't actually do anything, like close spaces or fix bites or straighten teeth. So again, I told you my opinion. I told you to check and see what's legal in your state with an attorney, as well as your own dental insurance company if you're a doctor, to see if you can do this. I personally don't recommend doing this. The way that I was trained, at least in a course, and I might have taken this course probably in AAO, would be my guess, sometime in my 20-something years of doing this. I remember them telling us that we can totally take braces off on a patient if it's due to non-compliance, due to missed appointment, not following directions, not brushing, getting cavities, not doing things they're supposed to do, right? That is fine. We can totally terminate treatment. Of course, we have to send the letters, and we can't force them to do it, but we can discontinue a patient if they refuse to come in and get the braces off. We can give an opportunity to get a copy of their records at no additional charge, or to find another provider, and we can move the records over to them. What we couldn't do is hold a patient hostage. We either have to make progress or take them off. And even more so, we really can't do that if the patient has had something that we have made some damage or some change, be it we've taken out a tooth, we've done IPR, we've started a process that needs to be fixed by orthodontics. If it's just like a simple class 1 crowding case without IPR, without extractions, and we just threw a wire in, well, then there's probably no harm taking the wire off. It's just going to go back to exactly where it started. Now, that being said, we're not required to give a retainer. That, at least I was told, we do not have to do. Now, on the flip side, if this is a kid and this kid didn't ask to be in this situation and the parents are just in a tight spot, I mean, a lot of it depends on the family too. I mean, if you know this family and you know they're just in a tight spot and, something happened, well, that's bad on you if you don't just finish the case. I mean, it's karma. Maybe they'll pay you back later, maybe they won't, but it's karma, and it's not fair for the kid is what it comes down to. It's not fair for the kid. The kid didn't ask for that. It is so, I can see it in their faces. It's so incredibly humiliating to the child to be in that situation. So if you can work with the parent, and see what you can do, you can put them on an extended payment plan. I mean, maybe you just finish the case pro bono, whatever, Don't harm a kid, especially if you're almost done with treatment. Don't not give them a retainer after you did all that work. That's just crappy. If they lose the retainer, that's a different story, But like I said, again, check with your attorney, check with your liability insurance. There's tons of paperwork for this and things like that. And really each scenario is their own situation. And a lot of times if a parent is in a tight spot and you help them out, I'm not saying you give them everything for free, but usually karma will come back to you later in the form of referrals and kind words and good reviews. And maybe sometimes later they are able to pay you back, and maybe they're not. Or, whether you're sending them the collections or not, I don't know, at least finish the kid's treatment. If it's an adult, all bets are off. I mean, that adult knew what they're getting themselves into. They knew if they didn't pay, the braces or the Invisalign's gonna have to come off. Again, if you did IPR, took out a tooth, nah. Then you shouldn't have taken that case if you didn't have a big enough down payment, or at least if you did a compassionate or a cherry or something like that, you would have gotten your money up front, less a certain, maintenance fee or payment fee for the processing. But that's how you handle those type of patients if you don't have an existing relationship with them, or if you get the feeling that this is a complicated treatment plan and you're starting something that you might not be able to finish, well, then that's something to keep in mind. So, all right, I know that was a lot of information, but someone asked me about it, so I just told you my thoughts. All right, thanks.